and we're going to show you how to erect and install a 4-foot by 8-foot hooped raised bed. My name is Ken Kuhn. My company is Grow Yon. This is our 8th year. We're in 30 states and Canada. We've put out over 1,000 beds and helped people learn how to grow food. Our main purpose is to cut down the carbon footprint by not shipping food thousands of miles and instead growing and buying locally. The first thing we're going to do is level the building site. We use a 4-foot level with a bubble, and we do it from side to side and end to end. And the reason for this is so when we install the drip system, all the water doesn't flow one way or another because it's out of level. It's very easy. You just put AA, BB, CC, DD together and set the frame upright. If your site is level, then it should have no problem standing up. Okay, so the first thing we're doing is we're making sure this is flush on top, and then we're going to start with screwing in the first one right underneath the lip. You want to screw it in until the head is just flush with the inside of the countersunk hole. Once everything is screwed together, then we're going to position the inside corner brackets. These are Simpson strong ties. They're A35Zs. And we're going to position them about a ½ inch down from the top of the bed. There's a tab on this that we're going to hammer in to the wood. And that's going to hold the bracket in place while now we screw in 5 screws. There are holes in each tab, so through each tab we're going to screw in a screw. The second tab is going to go about a ½ inch up from the bottom of the bed, and the same system. No, that was right. Yeah. We'll nail in the tab first. And then we'll screw this bracket in with 5 screws also. And then you'll repeat that for all 4 corners. So now we're going to install the cleat, the rope cleat, about 1 inch down, right below the trim strip on the middle hole. And this is so it'll hold the cover down. When we tie the cover down, the cover is going to seat underneath this strip and become tight so that nothing gets in. We also do the cleat on the other side. You do it on 2 sides. Okay, next we're going to put on the bottom L brackets and cross over from one edge to the other. Then we're going to use the 1 5/8 inch screws again. That's it. Just do one at a time. This last one, we're going to use a shorter screw because the screws that go in this way on the corner, if you used a long screw, it would hit this screw. Now we're going to install the electrical conduit hoops. You're going to put the lettering on the bottom side or underside of the hoop. There's a pre-drilled hole halfway down the length where we're going to screw the ridge beam to, and you'll be able to bend these pipes very easily by hand. Okay, now we're going to back out. In each hole there's a screw. We're going to back the screw out. And now we're going to insert the pipe 2 inches down till it hits the bottom, and you're going to keep this hole so it's pointing straight across to the hole on the opposite side.
Yep.
Okay, now we're going to back out the other screw opposite the side we just put in. Go ahead. And we're going to bend the pipe over and insert it straight down till it hits the bottom, and then screw the screw back in. And that is how you install each hoop. Put a piece of tape over the hole so you don't get dirt in the hole, so when you put the hoop in, it isn't blocked or it doesn't stick up higher. You can actually hold this wheelbarrow by yourself and without letting the wheelbarrow hit the wood so it doesn't damage the wood, and then you can just drag the soil into the bed, and when you're done, just let the wheelbarrow down. And you can do that all the way around the bed. So our soil mix that we use is 70% compost, 20% topsoil, a little sand, a little clay, a little vermiculite, and the vermiculite is to create a porosity in the soil, so when you water, the water goes right in, it doesn't pond on top, and it goes right down to the roots. So this is the composition. It's all about soil, like location, 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 because if you start with a great soil mix, this mix is going to be in here for a long time. We don't replace the soil each year. It stays in here, and we just add to it and amend it. And what we amend it with is, we amend it with moonshine potting mix. It's made in Colorado. It's got about 20 different organic ingredients. It's super mix, and we put this in there again to create a porosity in the soil and amend it with many of these different ingredients like worm castings, humus, mycorrhizal fungi, some great stuff, coconut coir to retain water. And so we will spread this one bag throughout the bed and mix this whole thing in, and then we'll do it a second time. The corners are different because we're going to use 4-inch screws, and we're going to put in one each way in the corner. This locks the corner in and tightens this right here. So we're going to put in one, and the holes, one hole is high, one hole is low, so the screws don't hit. The other thing you can do is you can put some glue on this corner. You can even put some glue on these corners before you screw it. We use Tight Bond 3. So the ridge beam has preset countersunk holes every 2 feet going up and down. So if you set the screws first, screw it, and if you screw it just so it goes through the other side and comes out the back side, then when you put this underneath the hoop, this will go into the hole that's already pre-drilled in the bottom of the hoop. And now we're going to connect the 1/2-inch blue stripe irrigation tubing through the bottom of the bed and then come up to the top with an elbow. We're drilling a 1-inch hole, and we're drilling it about 1.5 inches up from the bottom and about 5 inches in from the end, so we don't hit the inside brackets and we don't hit the screws that are going in that way. You want to make sure that you clean out that hole really good, because when you stick the 1/2-inch pipe through it, you don't want to get stuff inside the pipe that's going to clog up the drip lines. These fittings are compression fittings. When you stick the pipe all the way in, it's like shark's teeth, and it won't let you pull it out. So it's much better than doing it with clamps. This is very quick, very easy. So we came through the hole with a short extension piece, and now we're going to put another elbow onto that will come up to the top of the bed. Always making sure that you don't get dirt inside any of the fittings. So this 4-foot piece, or a little less than 4 foot, goes at the end of the bed, and it's what we call the manifold. It's a 1/2-inch irrigation tubing. We're going to put a male coupling on the end that has a cap, so the water can't get out this way, and then we punch a hole with the staples that hold down the tubing in the bed. We punch a hole just in one side so that it doesn't go through, and then we measure it with the staple, punch another hole, and go all the way down the manifold. So for a 4-foot wide bed, we put in 7 holes. We've got these straight connectors, and we've got this little tool, and you push the connector until it snaps into the pipe, and we'll put one of these at each one of the 7 holes. Okay, we use what is called laser line. It's 1/4-inch tubing, and every 6 inches it has an emitter. There are holes on both sides, and for an 8-foot bed we measure 14 of these. Now when you cut it in between each one of the emitters. Don't cut it too close to the emitter. And then when you're done, you just wiggle this on to each one of the straight connectors, and that's your line. At the end of the line, we've got a stopper. It's called a goof plug, and we wiggle that on the end and push it all the way in so the water can't come out. So when there's pressure in the line, it'll come out each of the emitters at the same rate. Okay, now that we've got the lines connected, what we're going to do is we're going to pin down the manifold end so it doesn't move, and we'll come back one emitter and then put the pin right there on each one. That will hold everything in place. And then we'll, at each pipe going straight across, we'll put in another pin. So when we're planting starts, these starts come in little 4-packs or singles. Anyway, we loosen the roots first if they've been in there for a while, to give them the opportunity to spread and grow better. And then we plant right next to one of the emitters. So we dig a hole that's the same depth as the start. We press down at the base of the start all the way around, and then you just fill in loosely and don't pat. The idea is you never want to compress the soil. You always want to leave it loose and fluffy. Is we put the bigger plants in the back and then step it down to the front where we'll put the smaller lettuces and beets and carrots and things like that, because you don't want to put the taller plants on the south side where they're going to shade the smaller plants here in the back. This is what we use on all the above ground crops. It's called Root Rally. It's very nitrogen rich. It gives something for the little starts and seeds to feed on. Once we plant it, we put it around each plant. You can do this about once a month. You can especially do it in the winter time to give it a nice boost through the winter growing season. The reason we don't use this on subterranean crops is that you would get a lot of carrot tops and beet tops and very small carrots and beets. When we put the cover on, you want to make sure that the corners are down, the edge of the bottom of the cover is down below this lip that goes all the way around. This cord goes from the middle to the middle. So if the other side wasn't tied down and you pulled it really hard, it would pull this all the way back to the sleeve. Now we got cord stops on there to stop it from pulling into the sleeve. But the first side, either this side or the other side, you cross, you put it over the top of the cleat, don't pull, and then you cross and put it over the top of the cleat twice, and then you reach on top and you twist the left one to the right, so that's on top, and flip it back and pull it, and then reach on top, twist the right one to the left, flip it back and pull it. That's on the first side. So now that the other side is tied, you cross, you put it over the top of the cleat, and you pull down. And when you pull down, it tightens under this lip. And then keeping the tension, you cross and you put it over the top again. Twist the left one to the right, flip it back and pull it. Twist the right one to the left, flip it back and pull it. And now you're tied down. That's what keeps the Queen Mary at dock in New York. It's called a double half hitch. This will now take 70-mile-an-hour winds. These are gate hooks. They've got a spring and a slide. What I'm going to do is I'm going to spring it back and hook it into the bottom of the cover and then pull down so it's taut, and with the end of the screw make a hole and mark it. And then I'm going to screw this end into the bed. And when you get to a certain point, you can use the leverage of the long part of the hook to screw it all the way in. Now this is mainly for the winter, and what you'll do is when you lock this down, it keeps the end from flapping. It's not so necessary in the summertime. So you can leave this unhooked in the summertime unless it's very, very windy, and then you can lock it down. On the ends, the ends unzip and roll back like a tent, and you can tie these back for better bed aeration. There's an integral screen on the end here, so it's still going to keep the critters out and the big bugs, grasshoppers and stuff out, but it's going to let you get wind through the bed. Now usually when we plant the bed for the first week or so, if the wind's coming really hard from one end, we'll keep that end zipped down, because the plants they want to root and you don't want to get them all wind blown. So if it's very calm, you can open up both ends and let the whole bed breathe. It's better to let the bed breathe than it is to keep it all closed up. Okay, when you clip the cover, you want to clip it below this tape that's sewn on. This is on the inside of the cover, this is the bottom side of the tape, the sticky part. So if you clip it right there, when the sun heats up, it's going to make this stick, and it'll be hard to get off. So you want to clip it below the tape or up above about 6 inches, anywhere in between. And if you move the clip around, then you won't wear into the cover so much. And this will make it easy. When you want to access the bed, you untie it, you loosen it from both sides, you slide it up and clip it. And then you can access this side, do the same thing for the other side, open it up, slide it up and clip it, and then work the other side. Now during the day, you can slide both ends up and let the whole bed aerate, let the beneficial bugs go in there like parasitic wasps, lacewings, ladybugs, even birds will come in and eat bad bugs. And at night, We always lock it down because of critters, because of the nocturnals, the mice, the pack rats, squirrels, rabbits, feral cats love to come in here and use this as a cat box. So at night, we lock the cover down. So there's your own Insta Garden from Grow Yon. We're in 30 states and Canada. We ship these beds all over the United States. We've shipped covers to different countries. And if you want more information, you can go to my website, growyon.com, growyon.com. You can email me at ken@growyon.com. You can also call at 505-466-0393 or 490-1849. I'd be happy to answer any questions, talk to you about problems, talk to you about installations, anything that you might want. So keep growing if you're already growing, and if you haven't, start growing now. Grow Yon.